Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you are all doing well. Very interesting story to start off with. Cryptocurrency derivatives provider LedgerX plans to become the first US firm to offer physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts. The company announced Monday that it has filed for a designated contract market or DCM license, which would allow LedgerX to offer physically settled Bitcoin futures products to its customers. Unlike the cash-settled Bitcoin futures operated or offered by the CME and previously the CBOE, customers would receive the actual Bitcoin underlying a contract after it expires rather than the US dollar equivalent. And perhaps most notably, LedgerX can target retail investors, which is new offering. This was said by Juthika Chu, who serves as both Chief Risk and Operating Officer at LedgerX. She said, "We'll be able to service customers of any size. We won't be restricted to institutional clients." That means normal people as well will also be able to take part. Once approved, LedgerX will offer Bitcoin options, and Bitcoin futures to retail customers through a new platform dubbed Omni. Omni, built on LedgerX's existing infrastructure, will act as a provider for both custody and trading services. LedgerX's official platform received regulatory approval in July 2017. So the platform itself only went live late last year. Then they go to talk about what they want to do and so, blah, 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 blah. Not really that important. What's interesting is that we finally have another company who's finally coming forward about their intention to be able to launch another physical. And that's the most important part. Bitcoin futures contracts. That is the most important thing that we have right now. I don't know if LedgerX is going to be the one. Can't really tell. No one really knows for certain. But it's nice to see that there is another candidate out there to be able to try and do this, because what's going to be really interesting, like I said before in another video, in the future, when we do have further metrics for exactly, like the metrics that we have now for cryptocurrency prices usually run on, this is on Binance, this is on BitMEX, this is on Coinbase, this is on Bittrex. Major names are going to start having their names on these lists as well for the volume that's actually happening with them in the cryptocurrency space. And when we actually start including things that have like physical Bitcoin futures and stuff like that, it's going to be billions of dollars going to be swinging back and forth, especially because I think Bakkt is also doing a 24-hour Bitcoin futures thing, which is just going to be absolutely lovely. Anyway, apparently they're trying to get their thing out before Bakkt. That means they would have had to have filed like sometime last year, like early last year, because the people from the New York Stock Exchange filed theirs, what was it, like October 2018, and we're still waiting. So it would be kind of interesting to see how this actually, I mean, they're going to have it eventually, just who can kind of get it first. Next up, Bitcoin Lightning Wallet developer Anton Kumaigorodski, in a recent interview with Change Now, stated that the Lightning Network's plus points as well as its drawbacks have been fairly understood. Yeah, okay. I thought to say misunderstood. He revealed that the important updates were underway, which would make the running of the Lightning Network node less perilous and increase efficiency. According to the developer, systems like the Lightning Network are complex, have a huge scope for investment, and are never ready. However, he opined that it's almost ready for extensive adoption, as it has been successfully operated on the mainnet for more than a year. When talking about the market economy, Kumaigorodski said, "Lightning economy is still nascent, but we can still already see a number of businesses and individuals becoming noticeable. His vision for the peer-to-peer mesh network is essentially a network of hundreds to thousands of large payment hubs." He cited that the technology is trustless, but at the same time could be distinguished and was reliable in the crypto space. He's of the opinion that Lightning Network will definitely play a vital role in the Bitcoin transaction in the year to come. Kumaigorodski also advised that if anyone wanted to be part of this new and developing technology, they should act now. Just about every other day now, it's slowed down a tiny bit as far as like Lightning Network news. I think there was also something a couple days ago that we have more nodes than we had the 2 weeks before, and adoption and so. It's nice to see we're starting to get those same calls that we're getting from major analysts that Bitcoin has hit a bottom in the price. We're also starting to see a lot of, not a lot, trickles of people coming forward talking about that the Lightning Network is near, not not that it's near completion, that it's like it's growing at a rate large enough that eventually people, this is why it says ready for widespread adoption, that eventually people will be able to use it on a daily basis as if they were simply using any other network if they're trying to send transactions or money back and forth quickly, whatever the case might be. I'm going to give it to the end of this year. I have thought for a while that the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq were playing a part in the actual development of the Lightning Network, is simply because last year, toward the end of last year, no one was really using the Lightning Network, and then we got news that the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq were trying to open up their own products, and they were trying to do this for the cryptocurrency space. And then like 4 days later, the Lightning Network nodes completely exploded, and everyone was starting to use the Lightning Network, and then we started having more news about it, and I was like, it's kind of weird. No one was using it for an entire year. So I speculate that what's going to end up happening is that while we have news that, you know, they're going to try and offer physical Bitcoin futures and like stuff with the with Microsoft and Starbucks and all this other stuff, I think that they're going to start promoting Lightning as the way to be able to send these things back and forth. And I think that they're going to start using Lightning as an actual payment method, especially if you're trying to like send in Bitcoins and stuff like that to be able to like buy stocks. And I mean, that's all probably 2020, 2021. However, yeah, Lightning is still growing, and a lot of people are claiming that it's ready for widespread adoption. I give it to the end of this year. If we see that amount of continued growth, especially when prices start going back up, if prices start going back up, I think we'll see people gunning for the Lightning Network as like the solution that we have. Of course, sorry. Of course, we had news yesterday that the people from Tether had released around 400 million Tether onto the market, which equals to around $400 million. The accusation is that, we've had this accusation since around 2016, that the people from Tether are printing Tether in order to be able to buy up more Bitcoin. The idea is that they use it to manipulate Bitcoin prices. And I mean, I think this is just something that's going to continue on for a very long time. Yeah, $417 million, which is just a complete, just insanity that they're allowed to. And part of the problem is that no one still really knows if Tether is real or fake. We've had many people come forward and say that no, they are real, but we've also had other people claiming that they're Satoshi Nakamoto, and we know that that's also not real. So I feel like more people would be prone to lying about a couple $100 million that just really aren't there. I think we actually have a statement from the, where is it? From the Tether people. I think this might be it. Yeah, so this is the first part. It says it in an interview with Bloomberg professor John Griffin. He explained that the relationship between the price of Bitcoin and the issuance of Tether led to the conclusion that there was an intention to manipulate the market. He said, Tether seems to be used to stabilize and manipulate Bitcoin prices. I looked at a lot of markets. It's there fraud or manipulation in the market. It can leave tracks in the data. The tracks in the data there are very consistent with a manipulation hypothesis. Like I've said, we've had this for a very long time. The people from Tether continuously say no, that they are not doing it, but no one really knows for certain. And this is why you may have noticed there's a very huge push towards other stablecoins out there right now. A lot of people do not trust Tether for whatever the case might actually be. But this is now another round of people trying to figure out and look through the markets to see if people are creating Tether out of thin air to simply buy up more Bitcoin, which I mean is entirely possible. We've had other charts and stuff like that before, but this is going to be, it's going to continue. This is like our kind of like Mount Gox 2.0 kind of thing. Like there's just something that's always in the news and that people will never have complete clarity on, but it's still always there. Next up, sorry, Binance is in the news. Binance has completed their 7th quarterly coin burn since its inception. The coin burn is a tool to limit the supply of Binance coin and a way to distribute the earnings of the exchange to holders of the asset. The coin burn arrives at the end of another volatile quarter, which may have seen the digital asset markets bounce off the recent bottom and start a new season of recovery. Binance performed the smallest coin token burn so far, taking out of circulation 829,888 tokens. The dollar value of the burn is around $15.6 million, a significant increase over the last quarter in 2018. CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, also pointed to a quarterly recovery. He said, time-wise, the BitTorrent launchpad sale was a turning point for Bitcoin. The super successful sale of BTT restored a level of confidence in the market and reactivated interest in token projects. This was said by Changpeng Zhao. I'll try and get to this point in 1 second. If I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard on, what I've read and what I've heard on podcasts, is that Binance does this Binance coin burn because I think they eventually plan on having just 100 million tokens. This is what I've heard. I think then they started out 200 million, and they're constantly burning more and more and more to be able to get to a level. And this is why a lot of people have become very bullish on the Binance coin, because they realize that there will be less and less until there's not an enormous amount, and therefore people will have to fight between themselves to actually use these coins and use them on the platform, and also people who are also buying them up as if because people think or assuming that Binance could eventually become the Google of our generation, if you kind of want to say that. The other part that's been going on is that a lot of people are speculating the reason why we could be seeing an uptick in the cryptocurrency market is because that ICOs have found a way to kind of re-legitimize themselves. Not the whole BitTorrent thing, but the Binance platform has found a way, like for their launchpad, for people to be able to have a safe space, if you will, to be able to get cryptocurrencies once again, or rather new cryptocurrencies that are kind of coming out. Because a part of the problem that people saw with the cryptocurrency space of 2017 was that when people were trying to launch coins through Ethereum, a lot of them were scams, and it scared a lot of people off. But as Binance, we assume, does their due diligence and stuff like that, it has brought renewed confidence into the cryptocurrency markets because of a stable, trusted place where people can launch their cryptocurrencies. But I guess the main news is that Binance has burned more tokens. I think eventually they're supposed to just have 100 million Binance coin from where they are right now. I think that's the number. To kind of finish things off, Ripple Senior Vice President of Product, Ashish Birla, says Ripple will soon launch a major expansion of its XRP-based cross-border payment solution known as xRapid. In a new Ask Me Anything on YouTube, Birla talks about the company's strategy for XRP and xRapid, which so far has one corridor that is officially open between Mexico and the Philippines. She said on-demand liquidity is available today in Mexico and the Philippines. So far, the positive responses from our customers in those two countries have been overwhelming. But we are working on the next set of destinations, which we'll be announcing in hopefully short order here. I know our product team and marketing and engineering teams are working hard to light up those next set of destinations so that we can provide our customers with increased choice in terms of global expansion. The biggest hurdle to opening a new xRapid corridor is making sure it's compliant with regulators or regulations in both countries. Ripple is then free to partner with crypto exchanges that can accept fiat for financial institutions, convert it to XRP, and send it overseas, where it is instantly converted back to fiat. Ripple has partnered with Mexico-based crypto exchange Bitso and Philippines-based Coins.ph to power xRapid payments between the two countries. Right now, global currency provider Mercury FX is leading the push for real-world use of xRapid payments. In February, the company said it is looking to open up as many as 10 new payment corridors by the middle of this year. They said we have plans for the Middle East, we have plans for Canada imminently, but I think the real exciting thing that xRapid and Ripple brings is that it actually brings access to new markets that perhaps aren't actually accessible right now. It's 2 countries today. It could be 10 before the middle of the year, and what's stopping it from being any more than that? Birla says XRP has the edge on many digital assets because of its low fees and high speed. And then we don't need to really read about how quick XRP is. We got it. We know XRP is one of the quickest coins out there. What I believe, me myself, we are reaching a very critical point right now for a lot of coins. And I don't mean, that's not a negative. That's not me saying, oh, you got to do something. It's more like a lot of coins have been talking for about 2 or 3 years, saying that they can do this and that they can do that they are going to be doing this. It is now XRP's turn to show that it is going to be used. I mean, the only upside that we really have is that as Ripple is a multi-billion-dollar company, one can only assume, especially if they are regulated through the CFTC and the SEC, that they are probably not lying about their partnerships that they are going to have. However, it's more a matter of we've been getting a lot of news from different spaces, especially, I mean, if you even kind of want to target it right here, and even the news, I don't have the tab open, that Brad Garlinghouse said that by the end of this year, that is 2019, let us not forget, that XRP would be used by dozens and dozens of banks with an S. We mentioned that before in another video. He did not say a dozen bank. He said dozens of banks. We still do not have any type of clarity. Maybe I still think everyone's kind of waiting for the summertime. I wish they wouldn't just release the information now. However, we have potential clarity that by the end of this year in its completion, not even saying by the middle of this year, that's 10 corridors, and let's say 2 dozen. Let's not even say 5 dozen. He said dozens, so that's 24, 34. By the end of this year, we should have 34 banks and or institutions and or corridors that are going to be opened that are going to be using XRP/xRapid. So saith the Mercury FX, and so saith Brad Garlinghouse as far as the situation with XRP. Like I said, for me, I don't care for when companies just kind of talk. I kind of want to see something moving, and I said this before for other cryptocurrencies as well. I like EOS, but you have to prove that you are better than Ethereum. I like and hold Cardano, but please, you have to show me that you can actually do something as opposed to just saying that you're going to do something. And then we have other coins out there who I shall not mention, who keep saying that they can do things, but they cannot do them, or it is just not, it's perfectly clear that for these other coins, they're just spouting things that are not going to actually happen. So, Ripple is not often in the news, but when they are in the news, it is usually that they are getting ready for some type of major, not expansion, but like very good news is coming. Very good news is going to happen. And this news for me, and I'm sure for many other people as well, you may not be a die-hard XRP fan, but it's more like I am holding XRP. What is going to happen with XRP? We need to see, and I guess maybe even hear from the people from Ripple and other companies as well, that all the talk that they've been having is finally going to come to fruition. While it is lovely and wonderful that there's now a corridor between Mexico and the Philippines, we have, if I'm not mistaken, I think there are over 177, 183, somewhere around that number, countries around the world. And yeah, so by the end of this year, I think I will always be relatively loyal to XRP, but I'm praying that they do not become like other cryptocurrencies who say that they're going to do stuff and then we kind of don't get in it, or they like delay it or say, oh yeah, we're waiting just a little tiny bit more, because we've had a lot of that in 2018. We had an enormous amount of that in 2018. Not so much from the Ripple team, but I mean just in general, everyone saying that they were going to do something, that it was going to happen by a certain time frame, and then it actually ended up happening. I am waiting. I hate rushing time. However, we get too much good news, and when that good news is nearing, you know, you kind of just want it to really take place. So by the end of this year, if I am not mistaken, I have counted at least 34. 12, 10, yep, 34. Corridors or institutions or markets or whatever that should be using xRapid. That's not also including the 3 cryptocurrency exchanges who announced that they were going to be using XRP as a base pair. I think that's also not including SBI as well. So yeah, apparently major things are in the works. And I mean, like I said, I would rather them just release their information right now, but I assume that we're going to probably have to wait until either a bull run is happening or to sometime in the summer. That's just kind of how I feel about it.